And welcome to another California Guy video with your boy California Guy. What's up, everybody, and welcome to this video. It's entitled it's the white supremacy argument. This is a response to Madhead Doctor on pro Black Chris's video. Now, I see that we're having this discussion about, is white supremacy real? Is it a myth or is fiction? And a lot of black people are in the habit of saying that this is not real. They're being that this era does not exist at all, and that being it's this argument about being pro-black. Sorry, because I was reading my notes. It's this argument about being a pro-black individual and coon argument, and people keep saying talking about what is being pro-black and being coon. Now, people have been telling me in comment sections. I've been reading in comment sections and videos about being a pro-black. Now, people have been having this debate with Chris for a while over some of the content in his videos about white supremacy and how he is using it, I guess, as a race baiting tool. Now, here's what Madhead and some of the people that listen to his videos or his subscribers fail to understand is that people aren't saying, excuse me, because I'm drinking me a beer. People are not saying that white supremacy, that you should have a defeatist mindset when it comes to white supremacy. What pro Black Chris is saying is that white supremacy is real. He is telling you that being a black man in this country, being a black man in the United States, you're still a second class citizen. These are facts. People of African descent across the globe are still slaves in the modern day context. And you guys fail to understand that. You're a slave when you work. When they put black people to work, when you work regular jobs, you become a slave. These are facts. When we want certain rights in this country, we're still fighting for rights. When we help build this country, we're still fighting for different rights in the United States. And we shouldn't have to fight for no rights. We shouldn't have to fight for equality. But instead, we as a people, some of us black people, we fall into this Disneyland mindset that white supremacy does not exist. And that we use white supremacy as a way that it changed. Now, if you black people want to fool yourselves into thinking that white supremacy doesn't exist, that's on you. But it does exist in my world. I see systematic racism on a police level. I see that they alter laws in some states in the South where they're using voting rights to restrict black people that's elderly of IDs. They're doing poll taxes in some states. They're doing many things through the federal government. Now, people want to keep saying that, well, us pro blacks, we want to be victims. Ain't nobody talking about being a victim. We're talking about black people fighting for their rights. And you guys are telling us to be naive. You mad people like Madhead is telling black people and its subscribers that black people should be cowards in this country. And black people are not going to be cowards. They're not going to cow down to white supremacy. And all pro black Chris is saying is that black people should fight for their rights. That you acknowledge that this systematic racism that's used through globalism and white supremacy, it exists and they're holding black people down. That's number one. He's telling people to wake up from this matrix, which I've said the same thing in my own videos. Instead, you black people on black YouTube has this, because you guys say the same thing. I read the comment sections. So you're trying to use this reverse psychology, as I can see, because I know reverse psychology and mind tricks. You're trying to tell pro black Chris, myself, and other pro blacks that I'm not under no pro black. I'm not under no what's that? I'm not under white supremacy. You know, they're under white supremacy. I'm not under white supremacy. I make money. So white supremacy don't exist. Because I've been reading that. Why do you guys keep saying white supremacy? You know, you're giving white people props. Man, thing that I've ever heard in my life. And you guys are re-sharing your same rhetoric. You're re-sharing that rhetoric, and it don't work on me, of course, because I see white supremacy. So saying that to me don't mean nothing. And then telling me, well, I make money, so because I make money, white supremacy doesn't exist. It makes no sense. I make money, so all of a sudden you don't see police shootings on TV, marches, or voting rights problems, or other things that go on in the United States in these 50 states. You're saying that that doesn't exist because I'm able to work and get a job, or I become wealthy. You have wealthy individuals in this. You have a black president, for God's sake. You just had police shootings for like 6 years, 7 years since he's been president. So saying that because I'm successful, racism doesn't exist do not make sense. But you're trying to assert, but see, that's the white supremacy logic, is that I need to get a job, make some money, and then white supremacy doesn't exist. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You're still a slave in the United States. Even if you work jobs. Black people as slaves was working a job, and guess what? They were slaves. They got killed just from escaping the plantation. So this logic, that trying to use this logic game. Oh, and let me say one more thing too. Now that it's on my mind, stop using the example of poor white people. That is a dumbass, dumb fucking argument. If I ever heard it, you know what I mean? Ever since they founded the United States, they've had poor Caucasian people in the United States when they founded this fucking country. So they had them poor. But guess what? Black people were still slaves. Black people were still getting castrated. Black women were still getting raped. Black women was giving birth to mulatto children. But you still had poor white people at the same time. And guess who was doing the damage at the time? Poor white people who was working for slave masters that was pursuing white supremacy on black people in those days. Just like today. Today, if white people is on welfare and they're getting food stamps and they're getting all these different things, guess what happens? Black people is doing far worse than they're ever doing. They're doing far worse because poor whites equal to fucked up blacks. And guess what happens? When whites get poor, they start fighting for fucking jobs against black people. They do. They fight for jobs. They fight Latinos and blacks. These days, the Latinos are the new threat to white supremacy, but that's another video for another time. So, stop using other races as a model to try to win an argument when it comes to racism, because black people had over 400 years of slavery from every race in the world. Every race in the world is imprisoned black people, from Muslims to French to Spanish to British Crown to American white people have imprisoned black people for 400 years, had us as slaves, murdered, killed, brutalized, did all kinds of different things. And today, because some of you Negroes could get a job or maybe have education, then all of a sudden racism doesn't exist because you could do something, but you got your other brothers and sisters that can't do something because you don't care about your other brothers and sisters. People like Pro Black Chris and other pro blacks on Black YouTube, real pro blacks, they care about the black community. They care about their other brothers and sisters. And Pro Black Chris, I salute him for speaking the truth on white supremacy. I salute him for knocking down those lies that Madhead has been telling and his followers. Using of the race model will not work on me. You can't tell me about poor races when every race has been poor. But guess what? Each race that was poor was able to get out of their poor status, whereas black people, their poor status in this country alone has been consistent. So I'm gonna do another video shortly. This is part one. Peace out.